I don't know. There he is.
The other David Johnson, I think she was asking about Johnson.
Good evening and welcome to the City of Roswell Mayor and City Council meeting of Monday, March 10th, 2025. I am Mayor Kurt Wilson. I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues and council members present. Councilmember Sarah Beeson, Councilmember Christine Hall, Councilmember Lee Hills, Councilmember David Johnson, Councilmember William Mortland, and Councilmember Alan Sells. At this time, I'll now turn the meeting over to our Chief Executive Officer and City Administrator, Mr. Randy Knighton, to explain how the meeting is run. Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson, and good evening to everyone. In accordance with Section Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, the City Council shall hold regular public meetings. The purpose of City Council meetings are for the public to participate and speak on agenda items which constitute formal decisions by the elected body. These items are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed via the city website prior to the meeting. This is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. A significant and important component of city council meetings are to hear directly from residents on the items listed on the agenda. Residents are at the top of the organizational chart for the city of Roswell. Therefore, public comments and questions are essential for mayor and council to incorporate in each decision. If you would like to speak on an item, we ask that you fill out a comment card located at the back of the room in order to ensure an accurate record of the meeting. We ask that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the course of the meeting this evening, which is and should be reflective of this great community. With respect to the proceedings, we ask that attention is given to the person speaking, and if it is necessary, for anyone to have an independent conversation, we request that you exit the rear doors of the chambers out to the vestibule area. In addition, we ask that you silence any electronic devices at this time. The mayor is the presiding officer and will ensure the orderly exchange of comments, questions, and thoughts leading to decisions by the elected body. We encourage everyone in attendance and the viewing audience to visit the city website for meetings, events, and departmental information. We also encourage everyone to review and participate in the various offerings and activities here in the city of Roswell, and visit roswell365.com for a calendar of events. There are a number of events upcoming in the city of Roswell which promote community, physical activity, and leisure as we all make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Knighton. At this time, I have the great privilege of asking Pastor David Bryan from the New Community Church to come to the front and lead us in a moment of silence and the invocation. Welcome, sir.
And I want to just begin with something that we do each Sunday at our church service, which is I want to give everyone in this room the opportunity to personally recognize and seek the presence of God. So no one can leave here saying, I didn't have that moment where I personally bowed my head and said, God, would your wisdom and presence be here? So let's begin with a moment of silence, if you will. And now, oh God, recognizing that your presence is here, that makes this a holy place, that makes this a house of God. I pray for everybody in this room. I pray a blessing on their lives, for every man and woman and child in here. I pray for the men and women who lead our city and serve our community. I pray for those who are here to listen and to comment. I pray for the decisions and the challenges and the opportunities that face our community. I pray for the wisdom and the humility and the kindness of our leaders, and not just for the people in this room, but I pray for their families. Will you bless their parents and their grandparents? I pray for their children and their grandchildren. And God, I pray for our schools and for our city. I pray for our state. I pray for our country and for our world. Guide our thoughts, craft our words, shape our hearts. Give us courage and grace this evening as together we strengthen this amazing city of Roswell. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor David Bryan from New Community Church, for leading us tonight in the invocation and moment of silence. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate it. At this time, I have the great privilege of asking Georgia Army National Guard Captain Battalion S2, Jason Dooley, to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Captain Dooley, I'd like to ask you to please stay up there, and I'd like to ask the council to come down and join me for the first item under the mayor's report, which is a reading of the proclamation for the esteemed veteran of Roswell. And Captain Dooley, as you can probably tell, is dressed in a Roswell Fire Department uniform. We're very fortunate to have his service, and he's doing an extra good one for us today. He is a veteran that we plan on celebrating in the future. We actually had another veteran that was scheduled tonight who got very ill and couldn't make it. So Captain Dooley came through for us to do our esteemed veteran. So thank you, sir. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Captain Battalion S2, Jason Dooley, esteemed veteran. Whereas the city of Roswell honors and recognizes the courageous men and women who've served our nation with dedication and distinction in the armed forces. And whereas Jason H. Dooley began his military journey in 1992 as a cadet in the Reserve Officer Training Corps at the University of North Georgia, where he developed the leadership and tactical skills that would define his military career. And whereas in 1994, at the age of 20, Jason earned his paratrooper badge at Fort Benning, Georgia. Whereas upon commissioning as a second lieutenant in 1996, Captain Jason Dooley, upon commissioning as a second lieutenant in 1996, Captain Dooley attended Armor Officer Basic Course at Fort Knox, Kentucky, preparing him for his future role as an armor officer in the Georgia Army National Guard, and served in several critical leadership positions, including platoon leader, company executive officer, and battalion S2 intelligence officer, demonstrating exceptional leadership in combat operations, logistics, and intelligence analysis. Whereas his military service included key deployments, notably SFOR-8, Stabilization Force in Bosnia in 2001, supporting NATO-led efforts to restore peace and stability in the region. The G8 Summit in Sea Island, Georgia in 2004, where he played a role in security operations for world leaders attending the summit. Whereas Captain Jason Dooley completed specialized military training, including airborne school and armor officer training, equipping him with the skills necessary to lead soldiers in armored combat operations. And whereas in recognition of his exemplary service and dedication, He received numerous commendations, including the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the National Defense Service Medal, and the Army Service Ribbon. And whereas after completing his military service in 2004, Captain Jason Dooley continued his education, earning a master's degree in Management Public Administration from the University of Phoenix in 2008, further enhancing his leadership and public service expertise. And whereas Captain Jason Dooley remains dedicated to serving others as a battalion chief with the Roswell Fire Department and continues to give back to the veteran community by volunteering as a paramedic for the upcoming Rotary Club Honor Air Flight to Washington, D.C., ensuring that our veterans receive the honor and care they deserve. Whereas the City of Roswell is proud to recognize Captain Jason H. Dooley for his outstanding military service, leadership, and continued contributions to both his country and community. Now, therefore, I, Curtin Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, do hereby name Captain Battalion S2 Jason Dooley, an esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize his outstanding service to our country and to our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who've served in the United States Armed Forces. Congratulations, Captain Dooley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Honored and humbled that you chose to recognize me tonight as the esteemed veteran. Happy to have served our country, our state, and now the City of Roswell. As I was gathering these pictures for the presentation, I couldn't help but think what a cruel and ironic time is cruel and ironic. I was thinking about back when I was that young, having that much hair and having to get it cut like every 2 or 3 weeks, and I didn't have the money to do it. Now, no hair, plenty of money. So just ironic that it goes that way, as is life. But again, thank you for this honor, and I appreciate the recognition for myself and all the other veterans that you guys do here in Roswell. Thank you.
Everybody give the Captain Dooley. Forgive me. All right, next on the mayor's report are reappointments of members to our boards and commissions. And I'm going to ask all three of these outstanding people to come up at the same time as I read their names. Well, first of all, I've got to vote on them, so forgive me. First is the reappointment of Joaquin Chadiz to the Construction Board of Appeals. Does council have any questions regarding this reappointment? If not, do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Joaquin Chadiz to the Construction Board of Appeals?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Morthland. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Councilmember Hills. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hands. Let the motion show that the record states unanimous vote 6-0 for the reappointment of Joaquin Chadiz to the Construction Board of Appeals. Thank you. We'll do them all here all together in a minute. Next is the reappointment of Mary Nichols to the Historic Preservation Commission. Does the council have any questions regarding this reappointment? Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Mary Nichols to the Historic Preservation Commission? Motion by Councilmember Christine Hall. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Sells. All those in favor of the reappointment of Mary Nichols to the HPC, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the motion passes unanimously. Congratulations as well. Next is the reappointment of Jason Frazier to the Planning Commission. Does council have any questions regarding this reappointment? Very good. Do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Jason Frazier to the Planning Commission?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Hills, second by Councilmember Sells. All those in favor of reappointing Jason Frazier to the Planning Commission, please raise your hands. Let the motion shows that the motion passes unanimously. Congratulations to Mr. Frazier. Next is the reappointment of Pooja Gardner to the Planning Commission. Does council have any questions regarding this reappointment? Very good. Do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Pooja Gardner to the Planning Commission? Motion's made by Councilmember Morthland. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor of reappointing Pooja Gardner to the Planning Commission, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the vote is unanimous on Pooja Gardner's reappointment to the Planning Commission. Congratulations. Next is the reappointment of Amar Karthi to the Recreation Commission. Does council have any questions regarding this reappointment? Do I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Amar Karthi to the Recreation Commission? Motion made by Councilmember Beeson. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Johnson. All those in favor of the reappointment of Amar Karthi to the Recreation Commission, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the vote is unanimous. Congratulations to Amar. All right, I will now ask the board members who have been reappointed to come forward and read the oath of office. Joaquin, Jadiz, and Pooja Gardner are not present. Pooja will take the oath at the next mayor and council meeting. Katrina should have a copy of the oath in the Bible for each of you, and I will ask each of you to raise your right hand and place your left hand in the Bible while you read the oath. And I'm going to come down and read this. So if y'all will come join me here at the front.
Isn't that Animal House? Yeah.
Right, Jamie? Left hand on the Bible? I get in trouble for messing this up.
I got a spare Bible if you need one.
Oath of office. State of Georgia. County of Fulton. I state your name. Solemnly swear. Or affirm. I will support the Constitution. United States. State of Georgia. I will in all respects. Serve the provisions of the Charter. And ordinances of the City of Roswell.
Ordinances of the City of Roswell.
And I will well.
And I will well
And truly perform.
and truly perform
The duties.
the duties
Of the office.
of the office
Of.
Historic Preservation Commission,
Planning Commission.
Recreation Commission.
And that I will to the utmost of my skill.
and that I will, to the utmost of my skill
And ability.
and ability,
Endeavor to promote the interest.
Endeavor to promote the interests
And property.
and
and
property
property
Of said city.
of
of said city
Without fear.
without fear,
Favor.
favor,
Or affection.
or affection.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you give residence to your brother. All right, next on the mayor's report, I think it's the last item on the mayor's report tonight, is a list of upcoming events in the city of Roswell. I'll ask our pro tem and Councilmember Lee Hills to share with us some of the upcoming events coming in Roswell. Lee?
That's great. Thank you, Mayor. Want to, of course, draw your attention to Roswell365.com so that you can see what's up and coming in the city of Roswell. This is a universal Roswell-centric website where you can post your own listing if you have something within your neighborhood, your nonprofit with whom you might be affiliated, your religious organization where you might participate. If you'd like to create a free account and upload documentation and information on an event that you're hosting that you'd like to open up to the public, please do so. It's very easy, and it does expire at the end of the day of your event, so you don't have to go in and manage that. But it's a great way to get your information out there to the public. So I encourage you to go check that out, and you can also look up some of the things that I'm about to tell you and then other things on there. So go peruse Roswell365.com. This first item, I don't ride a bike as much, but I got to tell you, this is so exciting because this is mountain bike night rides at Big Creek Park. And it's March 12th, which is a Wednesday, from 7 to 9:30, which means the days are getting longer and you can bike at night. So spring is on the way. All riders must be ready to ride by 7 p.m., have their bike, helmet, light, cell phone, and closed-toed shoes to ride. So check that out on Roswell365.com. Also coming up, History Seek Saturday. That is this Saturday, March 15th, Historic Roswell Walking Tour. So these are just getting cranked up for the season again. This is at Historic Town Square, which, by the way, will get more and more lush because of the renovations we did last year over there. It's gorgeous. This is 11 a.m. to 12:30, and Roswell is known for the charm and character of its historic district and homes. One of the few metro Atlanta cities to retain antebellum architecture, guests will discover Roswell history through the stories of its earliest structures and founding citizens. Learn Roswell's unique vision for a planned mill town, and then stroll down Mimosa Boulevard to see the original Presbyterian church and several homes of founding families. So there will be more of these coming, but really a great afternoon or to go check out some of our local history and learn a little more than you might know now. Also coming up, free native plant gardening program. This is at East Roswell Recreation Center, Saturday, March 15th, also this weekend, from 11 to noon. And this is the North Metro Atlanta chapter of the Georgia Native Plant Society in partnership with Keep Roswell Beautiful. It includes, they're hosting a workshop of how to get started with native plants at the East Roswell Park. This free program includes an educational program, resources, and a free native plant to participants. Attendees will learn what native plants are, why they're crucial to the environment, and how to incorporate them into your yard and or garden. Sunday this coming weekend, the Michael O'Neill Singers present Mozart's Requiem. This is at Roswell United Methodist Church, Sunday, March 16th from 3 until 4:30. Mozart's Requiem in D minor, K, 626. For those music aficionados, you'll know what that means. The rest can just go and enjoy. It's recognized as one of his most iconic and enigmatic works. The hauntingly beautiful melodies and profound emotional depth in Requiem reflect themes of mortality and redemption. Dramatic orchestration blends with intricate choral harmonies, capturing the listener's imagination. Mozart's Requiem continues to be a powerful and moving piece, frequently performed and celebrated for its sublime artistry and its poignant, mysterious origins. And you can also find that on Roswell365.com. Violet, a music by Jeannie Tesori and Brian Crawley. This is at Roswell Cultural Arts Center, Friday, March 21st, from 7:30 until 9:30 p.m. Violet is a determined young woman on a journey of hope, love, and self-discovery. In 1964, she boards a bus across the Deep South seeking televangelist Miracle to heal a childhood scar. Along the way, she finds unexpected love and learns that true beauty runs deeper than skin. With a soul-stirring score blending bluegrass, gospel, and blues, this powerful musical will move and inspire you. Don't miss this unforgettable story. Right across the parking lot here. I'm pointing the wrong way, but right over here at the Cultural Arts Center, Friday, the March 21st. And then we also have an annual event, Water Drop Dash 5K and Fun Run. That's on Saturday, March 22nd at 7 a.m. at Chattahoochee Nature Center. This is the 13th annual Water Drop Dash 5K and is a fast and flat course along the banks of the beautiful Chattahoochee River in Roswell, Georgia. In conjunction with EPA, Environmental Public, yes, thank you, not public, yes, Protection Agency, WaterSense Fix a Leak Week in the run and post-race water festival encourages Metro Atlanta residents to conserve water. Thank you for that, Sarah. I was about to go EPW Roswell, so, and that's all I've got, Mayor.
Thank you, Lee, so much. All right, that's the end of the mayor's report. The next is consent agenda. There are 6 items on the consent agenda tonight. One of them, item number 2, I believe wants to be pulled out for a deferral. So I'm going to ask for a motion to pull that item 2 off for a deferral. A motion is made by Councilmember Sell to pull item number 2 off of the consent agenda for deferral. Motion made by Councilmember Sells. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Hall. All in favor of pulling off item 2 off the consent agenda for deferral, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the vote is unanimous to pull item number 2 off the consent agenda for deferral. Thank you very much. That leaves items 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the consent agenda. Does council have any questions or comments regarding those 5 items on the consent agenda? Thank you very much. Are there any Roswell residents who would like to speak on any of those 5 items, 1, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on the consent agenda? Yes, sir.
Good evening. Before you start the clock, I just want to, first of all, I have on the agenda 2 also questions, so I have now only 1. My comments could be political, but they are not. So if someone,
If they're referencing items 1, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on the consent agenda, Roman, we're fantastically cool. If they're not, if they're outside of the comments
No.
respective of those, then we probably don't need to hear it.
consent for number 4.
Okay. By the way, Roman, if you would do everybody a service, since not everybody knows you, tell everybody your name and where you live, sir.
Oh, I forgot, sorry.
No worries.
Roman Perzak, 810 Whitehall Way, still in Roswell.
Welcome.
I don't know, they may change the city or the street.
Yeah.
Today they're changing everything. First of all, I want to congratulate, whose name is? Brian Whitson of selecting the generator and using the generator on natural gas and not fuel. For years, I was involved in it with hospitals and everything, nationally, internationally, and I'm pretty happy that you decided to do it with the gas, because some hospitals are doing it already. Only one concern that I have, I didn't see the site, and I know where it is, but one of the things that we put general gas is because catastrophic events can cause damage to area where it's hurricane, tornadoes, flood, so on. So only gas generators are working. Therefore, I very appreciate it, because I was with Katrina and we have in a hospital fuel and nobody was able to deliver the fuel. So could be happen to flood or something like that. And I think, I don't know the site, but the most important is to remove all the trees, if there are trees, or any component like the electrical poles, because they can fail on the generator and cause damage. So this is my recommendation from my personal experience, personal and international experience. Then I have a question here, because it says that there are government institutions also involved in it, like HSA or Homeland Security, and they participate in the budget. As you far know, that's the government cutting money to each section of the government. Do you have any permission or a note, because it says you have a note, that they will give you really the money, or will be cut of budget of the government and you cannot receive the money? Because it says the city received notice from GMA HSA that it had received the grant award. It means they received it, but didn't approve it. Do you have comments on this?
Sir, this is your comment time.
What?
This is your comment time, sir.
Yes, and I have a question. If you have any proof that they will not cut the budget because they're cutting everywhere, and it will come say, sorry, we're cutting, and we're cutting your money that we're giving to you for this project. Do you have just a notice, or you have approval that they approve the budget?
Sir, this item's already been handled in committee. You're just simply making comments on the item that's before the council tonight. These are any comments that you want to make?
No, I have a question if this was approved or just noticed by the government. Because if they'll cut, for example, and they're cutting this office of HSA, so I don't know if they will cut or may approve. Do you have any approval that this will happen? They will give us the money? Or just notice? Question.
It would not be on the agenda if the money was in question.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Any other? Yes, ma'am. And this, again, are comments in reference to items 1, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on the consent agenda.
Hi, I'm Daryl O'Hare. I live in Arbor Creek. And my only, it's not exactly a question, but I am a little concerned about number 6 in it's a great thing. I'm excited about it. But I was wondering what will happen because I know that the U.S. Department, the Transportation Department sent out a memo today to rescind certain things, and it seems like this grant may fall within that purview. So I just wanted to hope that the city has a contingency plan in the event that the grant funds don't come our way. Because we're now entering into this agreement, although I don't understand the whole parts of it, but it sounds like it's a really great thing. Just wanted to hope that there is a contingency plan in place should the grant actually not follow through. I think it's from 2022 is the grant, so. But I'm not sure that we've received any monies for it yet since we're just starting the design process. That's it.
Thank you, Daryl. Any other Roswell residents who'd like to weigh in on items 1, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on the consent agenda? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Council, bring it back to you for any additional comments or questions regarding items 1, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on the consent agenda. Councilmember Beeson.
Just for that one last question from Mr. O'Hare, correct me if I'm wrong, and this might be a question for Mr. Knighton. The funds were already given to the CID. This is just an agreement between the City of Roswell and the CID, not for us to go after a grant. It's already been granted.
That's
correct.
Sarah, that's exactly right.
So-
Funds are encumbered. There's no.
Funds are not up in the air.
That's right.
Yeah. They're encumbered.
Any of the things on the docket or the funds are already encumbered. Yep. Thank you. Which means the money's already there. Sorry. Or we wouldn't have it on the agenda. If there was a question, it obviously would not be in front of you as an item for consideration. All right, thank you, Sarah. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? Very good. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion made by Councilmember David Johnson. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Alan Sells. All those in favor of approving items 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the consent agenda, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the consent agendas 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 pass unanimously. Thanks very much. Next is the regular agenda. Councilman Merkland, would you read the item under community development, please, Sarah?
Yes, sir. First and only item under the community development is 2025-0197. This is 935 Old Chadwick Lane, Grand Reserve at Litchfield Site Plan Amendment, presented by Angela Rambo.
God bless you. Will, we good to go? No. Oh,
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council.
hold on, Angela, 1 second. I think Will's got to introduce the item.
Oh,
Oh, he did? Yeah, he introduced her. Sorry, I'm getting old and the memory just slips. I can't hold a thought for longer than a minute. My apologies, Angela, sorry.
if I can get this to cooperate. Okay. Well, okay, we are here with a petition before you tonight for a change to a site plan for 935 Old Chadwick Lane, which is Phase 4 of Grand Reserve at Litchfield subdivision. For reference, this is a location map showing the entire Phase 4 of Grand Reserve. And this is the area that consists of the 15 lots that were rezoned in 2021. As I stated, the applicant is requesting a change to a previously approved site plan in order to adjust the location of the secondary emergency access entrance on Arnold Mill Road. On October 12th, 2021, the Mayor and City Council approved a rezoning of 15 single-family lots to AG 43 agricultural as part of Phase 4 of the Grand Reserve at Litchfield subdivision. The area consists of 21.64 acres. The land directly to the east of Grand Reserve Phase 4 is in the city of Milton and in Zone C1. Community business. A new commercial development, including a convenience store and fuel pumps, is currently under construction. Originally, a 50-foot wide emergency access was shown in the northern portion of the property between lots 116 and 117. The applicant is requesting to revise the site plan to reposition the emergency entrance between lots 112 and 113 in order to comply with GDOT requirements. So this is the site plan showing the 15 lots that were rezoned in 2021 as approved by Mayor and City Council. And this is the current proposed site plan. And I'd like to just take a minute and point out a few things about this site plan. If I could get this to work. Nope, didn't want to. So you can see the alignment of the road has shifted slightly. It's a little straighter in the bottom portion of the site, and then up towards the northern portion, it's a little straighter as well. It's just been moved for a little bit further away from the stream buffer. All of the lots do meet the 120-foot requirement for lot width at the road, except for the cul-de-sac lots. It's the city's policy to allow these to be 50% of that required width, with the 120 feet being met at the front building setback. And also, going through lot 117, it's faded gray on the site plan, but there is a 30-foot Cobb EMC easement that is shown, and the applicant has indicated that this will be removed prior to construction. The number of lots had not changed in the proposed site plan, and staff is of the opinion that the site plan is still in substantial conformance with the previously approved site plan, of course, with the exception of the emergency access. As you can see, the original approved access is in the northern part of the subdivision, and now it's moved down about 550 feet south in between lots 113 and 112. The request to modify the emergency access has allowed staff an opportunity to reassess the site conditions given the built environment of other phases and proposed new construction. The question has been raised as to whether a full access entrance should be provided instead of an emergency access only entrance, and whether this full access entrance should be right in, right out only. Staff has reviewed generated trip data and has performed a preliminary site distance analysis. The visual assessment shows that site distance is adequate for a full access entrance if the new access is aligned with Chadwick Farm Boulevard and the commercial development across the street. Approval of the modification to the site plan with the following conditions is our staff recommendation. Condition to the first two conditions stated in the staff report, and adding a third and fourth condition to read as follows. The owner-developer shall develop the property in substantial accordance with the site plan dated 1/17/2025. The number of lots and units are not guaranteed, as a reduction may be required due to staff comments during the development process. Number 2, telecommunication towers are prohibited. Number 3, the access along Arnold Mill Road will be a full access entrance that will align with Chadwick Farm Boulevard and the commercial development across the street in Milton, or a right-in, right-out access that does not align with the Chadwick Farm Boulevard. Preliminary measurements show adequate intersection site distance is met for full access at Chadwick Farm Boulevard. The applicant shall provide site distance certification. If full access is approved by GDOT, the median striping along State Route 140 Arnold Mill Road should be converted to a 12-foot wide left turn lane. All improvements with the State Route 40 Arnold Mill Road right-of-way shall be approved by GDOT. And number 4, the transportation director shall have approval authority to validate that the revised site plan complies with condition number 3 during the land disturbance permit review process. Other changes to the site plan, such as changed lot lines or reduction in units, shall not require additional council review, provided that the site plan meets all other UDC requirements. This completes the staff presentation, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Angela, very much. Councilor Mortland, do you have an amendment to the last 4 points that were read?
Yes. On amendment, the third amendment, we have changed that just slightly.
Let's go ahead and put it back up on. Can we throw that up with the 4 that were up there, and then that way you can read along, and there'll be a slight distinction, I think, here on number 3.
Number 3, the access along Arnold Mill Road will be a full access entrance that will align with Chadwick Farm Boulevard and the commercial development across the street in Milton. If GDOT does not approve full access, then a right-in, right-out access that does not align with Chadwick Farm Boulevard. Preliminary measurements show adequate intersection. Well, the rest of it's the same. So,
Thank you, Will, very much. All right, does council have thoughts, comments, or questions on the item presented by Angela and Councilman Mortland? Councilman Lee Hills.
Thank you, Mayor. Many of you, I don't know how many are here this evening, welcome if you're representing the neighborhood, but we received a ton of emails, feedback. I don't know about calls. I didn't get calls, but I just want to say it was great to see community involvement on this and feedback from the folks that live there. And it was great for me personally. I can't speak for the rest, but I suspect it was great because I was thinking a lot like the residents are. This makes so much sense to put an access road there for Arnold Mill, and for Roswell, this doesn't turn into a cut-through road. I mean, the neighborhood's beautiful, it's a graceful drive-through, but it is definitely not a shortcut anywhere. But the residents that are living there certainly need a way to get in and out of the neighborhood without having to drive so far to get to the other entrance. So I'll be absolutely supporting this evening and look forward to see a beautiful project expand on that neighborhood.
Thank you, Councilmember Hills, very much. Further, Councilmember Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a clarifying question. So this has to go, because it's a state road, it has to go to GDOT for approval, as we understand. If they do not, if GDOT doesn't, for whatever reasons, approve a full access, does that mean that the right in, right only can be anywhere, or is the right in, right out going to be across from the Chadwick Farm access? That's my question. I'm not sure who can answer that.
It's a great question, Christine. Thanks for, that's a great clarifying question. Yeah, Director of Transportation Jeff Littlefield, you're in the audience, and I think you have some special powers as it comes to this after this gets through tonight. So maybe you can address this for everybody.
If it were going to be a right in, right out, it would have to meet the sight distance for looking left, which is, I believe, 465 feet for a 45-mile-an-hour road at 3 lanes.
So for us lay people, to Christine's question, what's the answer?
Yes, it could be approved, basically. Anywhere that they could get sight distance within 465 feet to the left. So looking left to make the right-hand turn.
So if GDOT comes back and says you can't have full access, and the full access would be at this Chadwick Farm, that means that it can be anywhere along their frontage?
Anywhere that it would fit within those sight distance requirements, pretty much, yes.
And
it would still be up to GDOT, so I can't really speak for GDOT.
so GDOT
But
would...
we would, if it were coming to us, we would look at the site distance and see where it was. But ideally, we would like that full access across from Chadwick Farms.
And would ideally, we like right in, right out at Chadwick Farms as well?
Well, it's already going to be full access. In Milton, there's a gas station being developed there and a strip mall. I don't know what's going in that development, but there is a gas station there, and it already services the landfill that goes down to Chadwick Farms. And there's a left turn into Chadwick Farms, and there's room for a left turn lane going into the
Oh, so that already exists. We just want to make it full access.
Yes.
That's, okay, thank you.
I think Mr. Knighton would like to weigh in as well.
I was just attempting to clarify for understanding. I think the question was, would the right in, right out be placed at the same location the full access is proposed?
No, it would be moved. I'm sorry if I didn't understand your question. It would be moved probably closer to, I believe it's Chadwick Lane, which is that dirt road. So it would be probably moved further that way. So I believe the lots start to run out as you go up towards Cherokee.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Director Littlefield. Councilmember Beeson.
To Councilmember Hill's point, we did receive a lot of feedback, and just personally from my opinion, putting my city planner hat on, it is incredibly asinine to build the infrastructure for having a connection into a road that you're only going to gate in order to have it for emergency access only. So you build out the full entire infrastructure to allow ingress, egress, but then you limit it to only first responders when you have an entire neighborhood of people who are being pressured into a bottleneck on the other side of the subdivision. So I am also in full support of adding the additional ingress, egress.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other council comments, thoughts, or questions? You guys don't want to, like, Will, Alan, David, you don't want to say, like, I fully support this measure and I want full, I mean, I'm waiting. Councilman Worthing, yes?
Thank you to the residents that chimed in. This was helpful.
Thanks, Will. All right, very good. Thank you. Questions or comments from council. I'll ask if any Roswell residents would like to weigh in on this. Hopefully you got a good sense of where the council is going to go. Yes, sir, welcome. Glad to have you tonight. I'm guessing it's your first time here. It's not as bad as it looks.
First time. I've already filled out my card. I didn't know to bring it up. I put it up in advance.
Thank you, sir. Just share with your name and where you live.
My name is Kevin Umstead. I live in Grand Reserve. I've lived there for almost 4 years. Wanted to say thank you, first of all, for allowing the forum and for all that you do for Roswell. We love the city. We love the neighborhood. We don't particularly love the traffic, but that's part of the nature of being in the greater Atlanta area. So coming out of our neighborhood is very difficult for our one main entrance on Arnold Mill. And just to reiterate kind of the things that you guys have talked about, really appreciate the fact that you've seen the emails and read them and really taken this to heart before I got up here. But since I drove here, I figured I might as well speak. We do have 100 homes in our neighborhood now. They're going to add 40. In addition, we have Litchfield 100 that cuts through out of our entrance also. So with so many families and so many kids and just general safety, when we discovered that the fourth phase was really going to come to fruition, it's kind of been back and forth for years. It's kind of been a rumor in our community. And we saw that it was originally designed emergency exit only. That really is what started all the email campaign, so to speak, that we've all worked on. We would like to ask the city and the community to push for a full access, entrance, exit. And I do think it makes sense to be across from the Chadwick Farm Boulevard, just as far as, just for logistics of it. So that's basically it. We just hope that you'll do that, and we just appreciate your time. And again, thanks for keeping Roswell such a great community.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for your involvement, your civic involvement and concern and making something happen. Yeah, I think your wife's applauding for you. You did good. Would other Roswell residents? Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Patrick Houlihan, 17135 Riverville Overlook Drive. I did not fill this out, but I will.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kevin. Absolutely makes sense. Full support of it. Just had to put it on the record, so thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, sir, very much. Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Anke Seidel. I live on 16220 Grand Litchfield Drive. Moved in right before Kevin, and also really enjoy living in Roswell. Has been great moving here. I don't want to repeat what both of them already said. The only thing I would like to add is we hope that the construction traffic is going to be moved away from Grand Litchfield Drive and goes through that new emergency or whatever exit entrance is going to be, because all these big trucks going in and out, and a lot of them with all the kids in the neighborhood, is just a safety hazard. Thank you.
That's a great point. Jeff, you want to address that at all? Can you address that? Are you in a position to address that?
I haven't.
Or Com?
I haven't seen the plans, but we can certainly look at that through the LDP process.
We also have the applicants here that maybe could better speak to what their plans are.
100%, but I'm more interested in the city's perspective of making sure we follow up and take care of that.
We'll certainly look at that and make sure that it enters. It's preferable to us to have it enter out onto a state route as opposed to going through a neighborhood, for sure.
And the applicant is here, but I've gone out of order, so you can probably tell, which I do from time to time because we do these so infrequently. Jeff, thank you. Are there any other Roswell residents who would like to address this issue? Thank you. The applicant is here. Applicant, you're more than welcome, obviously, to come to make any comments at this point. We'd love to have you if you would like to come address it. So I've gone in reverse order. You've heard the residents. Now we're doing the applicant. It's supposed to go the other way around. Don't screw it up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name's Bryson Mercer with Toll Brothers, and I have J.R. Crow here, who is our VP of Land Development, here to present this site plan amendment to you.
By the way, we love Toll Brothers. You guys do excellent product throughout the country. Your projects in Roswell have been fantastic. I'm very glad to have you guys. We're an outstanding home builder. Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you. And just to add to it, I'm at 12925 Bucksport Drive, Roswell and Litchfield 100.
I'll say you don't get any extra time for that, though.
Got it.
So As Angela pointed out, this is to amend a site plan that was approved in 2021. You can see the circled emergency access that was proposed during that rezoning application. If you'll go to the next slide, there's a zoomed in picture showing that emergency ingress and egress point. Next. And here is our new proposed emergency access. We had to move it south due to an existing driveway that is adjacent to the north property line to meet GDOT requirements, which touches on a point that Director Litchfield made earlier, and I believe Councilwoman Hall comment about if this were to be a right-in, right-out, we would have to comply with driveway spacing requirements from GDOT, which is going to be at least 230 feet on a 45-mile-per-hour state route. And then in that zoomed-in picture, it actually shows that concrete drive on our proposed site plan that was not included in the previous one. And I believe that's going to be, yep, and there's the zoomed-in picture of our emergency ingress and egress point. And to point out, I'll let JR talk about some of the zoning conditions if he would like to. I have the old draft on the next slide, but they're not taking into account any recent amendments.
Sure. The original plan was approved with the emergency access only, with me pushing for it passionately because I don't think it's safe for any more cars to be taking a left onto 140 from any neighborhood on 140 at this time. I think it's quite dangerous, to be honest, with the speeding. I live there. My child will someday take a left out of there. I don't want her to, right? The community's spoken, so we'll stand down and accept the conditions.
No, that's an excellent point, JR. Hey, how would you guys address the comments, the last comments made reference to the construction traffic? How would you address that?
I think, you know, our primary property is located off Old Chadwick Lane, so I would recommend that we use Old Chadwick Lane for construction traffic. And if it's kept as public right-of-way, that restore it to its original condition upon completion.
Did you hear what you wanted to hear?
That's the gravel road off of 140 that runs behind the existing homes on Grand Litchfield.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
With the permission, unless you guys got anything else?
Any questions from council? If not, we'll reserve the remainder of our time.
Council, any comments, thoughts, or questions for our applicant? No, thank you. We really do appreciate you guys do an outstanding product in our city. You really do. Thank you so much. And I'm going to ask, if there's any follow-up? You guys good? The residents, you guys good? Because I kind of went out of order. Are you guys all right? Any other thoughts, comments, questions from residents? Yes, sir?
I appreciate you guys addressing a lot.
Do me a favor. You got to come up here because there's people watching on TV and looking online and across the nation, across the country right now.
Yeah, sorry.
People want to know what you have to say.
To add any more nervousness to me. I mean, I appreciate the construction entrance being addressed, but so are we just waiting on whether GDOT will allow the full access entrance?
So GDOT ultimately, since it's a state road,
Right.
they do have that. They ultimately, that decision is in their hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as far as the parties here are trying to get that to happen.
That's right.
That's all we can do. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you very much. Council, I'm bringing it back to you. Any additional thought? Yes, ma'am. Councilor Beeson.
This is a question for City Attorney David Davidson. Is it possible to make that a fifth condition in this list of proposed conditions or adjustments, that it would be the primary entrance for construction to use the gravel access road off of Old Chadwick?
Sarah.
Well, because right now it sounds like that's what you guys are committing to, is that you said the primary entrance for your construction traffic is going to be that ingress egress off of Old Chadwick, which enters onto Arnold Mill Road. Is that correct?
If we could amend that to 140 and Old Chadwick. That's a state highway. There's obviously going to be some construction traffic coming in off of that.
Are you okay with that, Sarah?
Yeah, and I think, does that address the residents' concerns about cut-through traffic with large trucks going through the neighborhood on the opposite side? Because I think your concern is is the Cox Road side, or is it through the Arnold Mill side, the additional entrance? The main entrance.
Yes, if I may,
You're getting
there's an
dangerously
entrance.
close. You're getting dangerously close to a deferral.
No, I'm not trying to defer. I want to make sure that their
We can clean
concerns
this
are
up.
addressed, because it's easy enough to say in a council meeting, like, super cool, would love to make the construction traffic go this way. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page as to what those requirements are.
I do too. I just don't want to get too deep in the woods.
Yeah.
My understanding is that Grand Litchfield
Please.
Drive, which is the main access point for Grand Reserve subdivision, has an access onto 140. Grand Reserve 4 abuts Old Chadwick and 140 as well, so we would be agreeable to a condition allowing primary construction access off of 140 and Old Chadwick. And I
Outstanding.
think that would address their concerns.
Similar to condition 4 if approved by the Georgia Department. of
Correct.
Outstanding.
That's right.
Sarah, you good with that?
Yes, thank you.
Will, are you good with that as an amendment?
Give me a second.
Don't worry, David's way ahead of you. And Sarah's probably already got it in her head.
sorry, I can say it if you need me to on the
Yeah, okay. Any other thoughts? Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions from council? All right, Sarah, appreciate that additional amendment. There will be a price you have to pay afterwards, but we'll talk about that later. I'm kidding, good stuff. And I'm really glad you asked that question and brought that up into the whole piece about the concern, because that's, I hear that. I have, my neighborhood, I got a similar concern right now about that. All right. No other thoughts, comments, or questions? Councilmember Mortland, would you state, would you like to make a motion, and would you like to amend the motion that you're going to make? So, would you like to make an amended motion?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Would you make that amended motion?
Okay. So we are going to amend the original motion. The original motion being 2025-0197, 935 Old Chadwick Lane, Grand Reserve at Litchfield Site Plan Amendment with the
You got
following
two-
conditions.
Yeah, two. You got an amendment on 3, just a partial piece of language on 3, and then a brand new one on 5.
And here we go. These 5 conditions. The owner-developer shall develop the property in substantial accordance with the site plan dated 1/17/2025. The number of lots, units are not guaranteed, as reduction may be required due to the staff comments during the development process. Number 2, telecommunication towers are prohibited. Number 3, this is the slightly amended. The access along Arnold Mill Road will be a full access entrance that will align with Chadwick Farm Boulevard and the commercial development across the street in Milton, period. If GDOT does not approve full access, then a right-in, right-out access that does not align with Chadwick Farm Boulevard. Primary preliminary measurements show adequate intersection site distance is met for full access at Chadwick Farm Boulevard. The applicant shall provide site distance certification. If full access is approved by GDOT, the median striping along State Route 140 Arnold Mill Road shall be converted to a 12-foot wide left turn lane. All improvements within the State Route 140 Arnold Mill Road right-of-way shall be approved by GDOT. Number 4, the Transportation Director shall have approval authority to validate that the revised site plan complies with condition number 3 during the land disturbance permit review process. Other changes to the site plan, such as changed lot lines or reduction in units, shall not require additional council review, provided the site plan meets all other UDC requirements. Number 5, all construction traffic will utilize Old Chadwick and Arnold Mill Road as primary egress pending GDOT approval.
Perfect. All right, thank you, Will. Thank you for that motion and amendments to it.
My pleasure.
Motion's made by Councilmember Will Mortland. We appreciate your hard work. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Lee Hills.
Wholehearted second.
Thank you very much. Council, there's been a motion made, it's been seconded. All in favor of the motion as stated by Councilmember Mortland, please raise your hands. Let the record show that the motion as amended is approved unanimously 6-0. Thank you very much and congratulations. Being that there are no other items on this city council meeting, Marion City Council meeting of March 10th, 2025, we thank you very much for your time and for your being with us, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.